About a year and a half ago, I did an SNES Hidden Gems video with Mike Tendo. The first game I mentioned was Darius Twin. Of course, every time you do a Hidden Gems video today, people are quick to comment on whether or not the term hidden gem is misleading, or ill-defined, or driving up the price of games. Spoiler, it takes a channel way bigger than mine to affect game prices. I'm not having that discussion though. You can check out the video I did on that topic in the description if you really want. No, what I want to talk about is whether or not Darius Twin is a good game. Darius Twin is a horizontal scrolling shmup.
Shooters, goddammit. Shooters.
Where you gain power-ups, blow up ships, visit different levels, and fight bosses. Yep, pretty much describes the entire genre. The kicker with this game is that you can play it as a two-player co-op. That's pretty cool, but other than that, is it really a good game? When I initially covered Darius Twin, I said that I enjoyed the game because of its accessibility. At the time, I wasn't very good at shooters and I wanted to be able to delve into the genre and appreciate all it had to offer. I had played a number of different shmups like Gradius 1 and 3, Thunder Force 2, Legendary Wings, and a couple others, but everything else just seemed so inaccessible to me. I was kind of afraid to jump into them for the fear that the difficulty would drive me off. Well, it's over a year later, and I've since played quite a bit. I've beaten Gradius and Gradius 2 without dying, I've been working at Thunder Force 3 quite a bit, I love Blazing Lasers and the few other TurboGrafx 16 shooters I've played, and I'm constantly on the lookout for new shooter experiences. I'm still relatively new to the genre, but I dove in headfirst and I love it. I decided to revisit Darius Twin finally, and well, my opinion on the game has changed. I have a better understanding of the genre and what makes it great, and so I do have some observations to make. The graphics aren't that great. The presentation of the game is severely behind other 16-bit shooters that I've played thus far. Darius Twin was released in 1991. Gradius 3 was released the previous year, 1990, in Japan, and it looks much, much better and way more interesting. Thunder Force 3 was released on the supposedly technically inferior Sega Genesis, also in 1990, and well, it looks downright amazing. So even though this game was released early in the lifetime of the console, the developers could have done a much better job. The graphics aren't bad though. They're decent enough, just not really anything special. The bosses do look super detailed and really cool, but unfortunately they still don't make up for the lack of interesting backgrounds or the boring normal enemies you face throughout the game. The music, similarly, is pretty mediocre compared to other games released around the same time. Again, it's not bad, and it's actually decent in some places, but it's pretty forgettable otherwise. Darius Twin has two difficulty levels, easy and normal. I've been playing on easy mostly because while I'm more experienced at shooters, I'm still not great. The difficulty on easy is actually a good challenge, but when you bump up the difficulty to normal, the only thing that I've noticed changes is the speed of the enemies and how many shots it takes to kill them. There really isn't any differentiation on their weapons, patterns, or movement. And with the way your weapons fire, having to kill regular cannon fodder with more than a single hit just doesn't feel quite right. I'm not sure, but it just feels like the game's flow is hindered. Maybe it's lazy programming or lack of creativity, I don't know. One seemingly cool aspect of the game is the ability to choose the level you play next. The only problem with this is that it doesn't really do much to make a difference. All that seems to happen is some enemies or maybe the background is palette swapped or changed very slightly. The enemy patterns throughout all the levels in the game are too similar, and honestly, it just gets boring by the time you get late into the game. Darius Twin is far from a bad game. I still had fun while I revisited it. The game is completely playable and does offer a decent challenge, and it's still accessible for newcomers to the shmup genre. It's just not really all that special when held up to some of the heavy hitters from the era, and even some from the previous generation. Seriously, Gradius 2 for the Famicom blows this game away. And heck, the inclusion of a two-player co-op helps, though there are some games that still do it better. Look at Life Force on the NES, for example. Honestly though, I don't think I can still recommend this game as a hidden gem. The only time I can see myself recommending this to someone is, again, someone who is having problems getting into shmups and wants something they can cut their teeth on. So maybe I was probably wrong to include this on that Hidden Gems video, but hey, we all make mistakes. Later.